John Hack, why should we listen to you tell us about TMP?
We hit on cracked screen with same day, or you going to a Ubrick iFix location. We hit on 600 stores nationwide and you can find one in your area and go to. What if my phone's completely broken? Well, you have same day or even next day if that's an option. We have a real life example. We have Verizon, the only one who offers a multi-device option, and we have two ways to pitch it.
Okay, you've convinced me. Hello and welcome back to The Horn. Now, those of you who watch regularly will remember John Hack of Asurion. He was with us just a couple of months ago and he was telling us about Verizon Tech Team and also about TMP, Total Mobile Protection, Multi-Device and Single Device. Now, I've included down below this video a link to that video, to that introductory video, but I thought, what a good idea to invite John back to tell us more about TMP. So he is going to help us by giving us some ideas of value props or messages that you could actually speak to your business customers when you're describing TMP to them. So let's welcome John. John, how are you?
I'm doing well, Neil. Thanks for having me on.
So John, I know that you've been speaking to business customers yourself and you're aware of what's selling well at the moment. And I wanted to ask you in particular, there are always several value props, but there are usually one or two that really tend to resonate more than the others. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think is working for us?
Yeah, absolutely. And recently we did a quick survey of customers asking them, hey, of these services here, which ones mean the most to you? Because I have my own opinions, I'm sure you do as well. And they came back with two. They came back with two items that they felt were the most important to them. And I'll tell you, the first one makes the most sense. We have a cracked screen repair. And I know for me, I've never personally lost my phone, never personally had water damage, but I have broken my screen on several occasions. So it didn't surprise me when that's one of the things that came up. And what's nice about it is you have several options when this happens. You have the ability to get your cracked screen fixed same day, or you have another great ability to take advantage of one of our Ubrick iFix locations across the country, in which we're getting close to around 600 of those that are available nationwide. All right, so think about it. If you have the ability to have someone come to your house and swap out your screen for you, or just drive to a local Ubrick iFix location, you can get that taken care of same day, and that's just a great value prop for our business customers. Now, the other one, when you think about same day delivery, let's say you happen to have one of those catastrophes where you have your phone lost or stolen, which would be terrible, a water damaged device, or a total damaged device. Something happens at your work site or your place of business that you own. You have the ability to get same day delivery upon availability, which is outstanding. But don't worry, if same day is not available, we do have the ability for next day overnight shipping to get you that device as soon as possible. So those are two great options for customers who have told us that's what they love the most, and we agree with them. We believe that these are two great items that can set you apart when you're trying to sell this great product to your business customer.
I'm with you in this, John. I personally have never cracked my smartphone screen. That's the sound of me knocking on wood. My teenage daughter, though, has several times, and I did consider for a while going into business for myself, selling smartphones for teenagers with the screens already pre-cracked, because they seem to like it that way. But moving on quickly, you told me that you have a real-life customer example that you could share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Recently, we had a customer named Sarah. She has a small printing business out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and she filed a claim for a cracked screen repair where she let us know that, hey, at 8 a.m., when she was getting up to go into work, dropped her phone right on the screen, boom, cracked it. Looked over, entire screen was cracked. So what did she do? She went online. She said, well, I might as well get my claim started. Filed the cracked screen repair, and it popped up and said, do you want to take advantage of same-day replacement? She was blown away at that. She said she had remembered hearing something about getting the ability to have same day, but was not aware she never cracked her screen before, much like you had just said you had it. So she clicked on same day. She chose 2:30, which was just a couple hours away. They ended up going to her place of business, swapping out her screen, and by 3 o'clock that same day, she was up and running. And she had told us that was such an amazing experience for her because she was so frustrated with dropping her phone and breaking it. But for just a couple dollars, she was able to get that screen up and running. She continued, she was able to still work because they came to her place of business, and she was up and running that same day. So I just think about what a great experience for that customer who's now going to be a believer of Asurion with just TMP of all services going forward.
Fantastic, John. Thank you so much. And of course, it's not just cracked screens. A lot of business customers find great value in the same day service. In other words, it's not really the phone that's so important, it's the communications and the information that's on the phone, so they need to get up and running as fast as possible.
Absolutely. And that it brings me to one of the most important pieces of TMP when you think about all the great things it offers with crack screen and same day and other items that we talked about in prior with Tech Team. But might be the most one. This is a Verizon exclusive product. When you think about TMP multi-device, no other company has the ability to protect your devices from 3 to 49 lines. So when you're having those customers come over from a T-Mobile or an AT&T who currently have a business account with those providers, what a great way to say, hey, we actually have a solution for you to protect your investment, because that's what it is. When these business customers, especially small businesses, they're always trying to find ways to save money. So when they're bringing their lines over and entrusting Verizon to give them service, we want them to trust us as well to protect their investments should anything happen, just like with Sarah, because if she didn't have protection and her screen was broken, what are her options? Maybe buy a new device, maybe pay off her device. So very expensive for her to go down that route. So when you factor in the fact that she saved time and money, it's a win-win for that customer, and I believe she's a customer for life.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate, I think that many consumers think about the investment being the actual physical phone that they've purchased. But of course, the businesses, it's the business disruption, it's the time lost, it's the interruption, or worse still, it's the possibility of a new customer making a call and not getting through, and that business being lost for good. So, we need to get the business up and running. We need to get that phone in operation or a replacement phone in place as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the piece that we always, go back to is these small businesses, although they use that line for personal use, it's also to keep their livelihood, their business up and running. And a couple hours down could be the difference for a big sale or two throughout that entire day. So we're always very happy when we can get a business customer up and running again for both personal and business use.
John, let's say there's an existing customer or a prospective customer who's thinking about it, but we're not quite able to close. Are there some questions or messaging that you would recommend that we actually say to that prospect that might convince them to sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, there's two questions when it comes to business that we try to make sure we're having that conversation about. We want to put them in a situation where we ask those, I'm not going to say difficult questions, but real life questions. The first one I always go to is, who's the small business? Who's the owner of the small business? Who's the decision maker? And what would happen if that phone was down for a day or two because you didn't have protection? Or what would happen if that executive's or the owner's phone was down? And the answer is always, that's not good. We can't have that. We can't have it for multiple days, and then we can always buy a new one, but that's too expensive, as we mentioned earlier. So we want to put them in the example of, let's make sure we protect that device for sure. If you don't want to do multi-device, that's fine, but more of a protecting the most important devices on the account. We partner that with another question. What happens if one of your employees cracks their screen? What's that process look like? Are they going to call you? Are they going to say, my screen's cracked, what do I do? Who's going to pay for that? Like, what's that look like? When you have TMP on your account where cracked screen is included, listen, it takes that concern, that question, that, oh no, what are we going to do now, out of the equation. So we like to ask them that question, like, what do you do when someone cracks your phone? Do you give them an old phone? Because that's not good. We know technology moves so fast nowadays.
Yes.
This gives the customers a great solution immediately. And as we talked about with Sarah, just a couple hours down for a couple dollars to get it fixed, it puts them in a situation where they go, yes, I want that, because should my employee crack their phone, I want the ability to get this same day fixed. So those are two great questions to ask to give the customer a real life example of, should something happen, this is what you would do.
Now, John, all of our agents know that they can come to us at Connectus to ask for advice or help. I wonder, if they feel they have a strong prospect, can they come to you to ask questions of you, or even to ask you to come on a call with them?
Yeah, absolutely. If you would like, you can reach out to me at john.hack@asurion.com. So that's john.hack@asurion.com. The best is just to shoot me an email and give me a brief description around what's going on, what do you need help with, and if there's a customer you would like me to talk to from a selling standpoint, I'm always open and willing to do so. Anything I can do to help the team, I am here for.
Fantastic. John Hack from Asurion, thanks again for joining us on The Horn.
Thank you.
You all take care. Bye-bye.